Across the Fence, we look at whether a small native berry could become the next big thing for Vermont farmers. And by the way, the tiny berry also helps fight the common cold. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for choosing Across the Fence. I'm Will Michael in for Judy Simpson. In the wake of Tropical Storm Irene in 2011, farmers began asking University of Vermont Extension if there was a commercial crop that could grow well in floodplains. Those inquiries led to a research project looking into the feasibility of growing elderberries. The elderberry is known as a versatile plant that can tolerate tough growing conditions. And when the fruit is processed, elderberries contain important antioxidants. Here's Across the Fence's Keith Silva with our story.
You may have heard of elderberries being used in jams, jellies, or wine. If you were raised on 70s British comedy, you'll recall the word elderberries being used as a taunt in a Monty Python movie.
Your mother was a hamster and your father smelt of elderberries.
Elderberries are a little bit smaller than a pea. They grow on bushes and are harvested by cutting them off in bunches like grapes.
They're a native plant, so they're really well adapted to this climate.
At the farm between in Cambridge, John Hayden thinks an elderberry bush is the perfect plant for Vermonters to have at home.
What we like about them is they'll grow well in marginal soils, so some of the heavier soils where other fruit won't thrive. So they have a nice little niche there. So that's we're using them to plug into areas where we couldn't really grow other fruit. There's a lot of talk about them. People are joking it's like the next big thing.
Go east on Route 15 and you'll find Elmore Roots, where owner David Freed loves elderberries so much he's written a rap.
It's our elder, our ancestor, our wise old shrub. Keeps us on our feet, brings us home from the pub.
When he's not rapping about elderberries, Freed encourages customers to grow their own.
They're not very fussy. The best thing is you start with a good sized plant with a good root system, plant it, not very deep, and keep putting compost and other rich earth from your garden around the base. Then they grow by themselves. We don't do very much, we just let them grow.
Freed and Hayden's interest in elderberry isn't new. People have been cultivating elderberries to use as medicine for centuries. It's said elderberry syrup was the go-to elixir for old-time Vermonters who wanted to ward off winter colds and flus. At Railyard Apothecary and Yoga Studio in Burlington, herbalist Guido Mazet prescribes elderberry as a way to fight the common cold.
As a clinical practitioner in herbal medicine, I've recommended elderberry countless times, and you have a couple of outcomes. Either the person just does not get sick when they're taking elderberry consistently, and I usually recommend it for folks who complain of getting sick, 3-4 times every winter. They start taking elderberry consistently, and they find that that goes down substantially, and sometimes they don't get sick at all. So there's that.
The medicinal properties of elderberries and its hardiness in Vermont's climate got researchers at University of Vermont to wonder if it was possible to grow elderberries on a commercial scale.
Ginger, where are we?
We are in the Intervale farm. And
Ginger Nickerson works for University of Vermont Extension's Center for Sustainable Agriculture. This project was funded by the Working Lands Enterprise Initiative.
We created these 3 different scenarios, a 40-bush planting, a 1-acre planting, and a 5-acre planting, and looked at what the markets and prices would be for all of those different scales. And then we also created an elderberry decision tool, which is an online spreadsheet where you can go and you can plug in all of your own numbers for the enterprise that you want to create and see whether that would be profitable for you.
The market for elderberry products is still developing, and so commercial production is still a ways away. To increase the popularity of the fruit and get ahead of the curve, Nickerson suggests starting small.
To start a commercial elderberry business, there's going to be a lot of upfront capital investment. And because that's not going to be for everybody, but the plant is still really great, we're recommending that people who are interested in it, but who might not want to make those big capital investments, they should still grow it, just growing it at a smaller scale.
What's not to love about a plant that's purple and green, royal colors, and that gets rid of the virus in the common cold?
Todd Hardy owns Thornhill Farm in Greensboro. His farming experience includes making honey. He learned about elderberries from longtime Vermonters and his friends, Lewis and Nancy Hill.
Lewis was a very kind man. He told me about the elderberries for 14 years, and I didn't hear him until I started seeing elderberry products come in from Europe made with white sugar. And I realized that we could do something made in Vermont with raw honey. And that changed our work with Honey Gardens apiaries.
The Hills developed two varieties, or cultivars, of elderberries, which are unique to Vermont, Kumar and Berry Hill. For Hardy, growing elderberries is a tribute to his friends.
Lewis and Nancy Hill are gentle giants of Vermont horticulture. Their books are in most every library. They wrote about daylilies, elderberries, black currants, flowering plants, and they were dedicated to Vermont, to Greensboro, and to horticulture. And Lewis knew how important the elderberries were, and he kept telling me about them. And it was a great way to diversify from being commercial beekeepers. And by mixing elderberries with the raw honey, the gift that Lewis gave us, we were able to stabilize our farm and make a really wonderful plant medicine.
Elderberries are well suited for value-added products. At the farm between, John Hayden makes an elderberry, ginger, and honey syrup. The syrups retail for $15 for a 12-ounce bottle.
It's a beautiful plant. So first of all, so if you're just in it for the aesthetics, it's beautiful to look at when it's in flower. You get these beautiful white panicles of flowers that fill the bush. It smells great. It's very diverse in terms of you can use the flowers to make fritters or make syrups or cordials, flavor jellies, put in your hard cider. I mean, you can do all kinds of stuff with the flowers.
It takes 3 to 5 years for an elderberry bush to bear fruit. 5 pounds of berries makes about 2.5 quarts of juice. As for care, Hayden's advice is keep it simple.
They do well with the what we call the stun method, which is sheer, total, utter neglect. So you can, if you have a black thumb, you should be able to put these in the ground and make sure they get watered in the first few weeks, and they're going to take off from there. It's a little weed management around the base so they're not competing with grasses and stuff when they're young. They're going to thrive. They're native to this place, so they know how to grow here.
Freed finds the elderberry to be stunning as well, and the perfect complement for a diverse landscape.
The most important thing is you plant a couple of varieties, 2 or 3 cultivars, and you don't baby them too much. Sometimes we just take them out of the pot, set them on the ground, put a stake in them so you can tell that they're there, let them grow on top of the ground. The bigger the plant you plant, the faster you're going to have elderberries. You want to give them a little space between them because they get big. See how big this bush is? So this bush has been here for a long time, and it's growing underneath apple trees, and it's not a problem. It likes to have friends around. Multi-purpose, usefulness, a very useful plant.
As an herbalist, Mazet has heard all the skepticism about folk remedies and natural medicines. For him, growing a stand of elderberries is like putting a medicine cabinet in your backyard.
People have looked at these botanicals, and particularly elderberry has a lot of good research behind it, and have consistently seen not only that it helps in people when they're feeling sick, but that there's reasons why. When you look at what the pharmacology is, the immune system's action is bumped up, innate immunity is more active, and you also see a reduction in the ability of viruses to replicate. So there's a clinical evidence and a pharmacological evidence basis for these plants. And honestly, it doesn't mean that you can't take some aspirin when your fever hurts. Take both together, and what you'll find is that your modern technological medicine will help in the moment to reduce symptoms, but that herbal medicine will really help make you stronger, more well, and more vibrant in the long run.
It's no joke. In sickness and in health, elderberries have had a lasting influence on people's well-being. When it comes to this kind of advice, it's always good to listen to your elders. In Burlington, I'm Keith Silva with Across the Fence.
For more information about the Elderberry Project, visit the web address on your screen. That site provides access to the Financial Decision Support Tool and a guide for propagating elderberries in your own backyard. Providing care for a parent or spouse can present significant challenges, but adult caregivers should know that there is help. In our next segment, we head to South Burlington to highlight one of the adult day programs offered by the Visiting Nurse Association.
I'm Karen Davey. I'm an activity assistant at Grandway Adult Day Program. We're part of the VNA, and I've been with the VNA for almost 10 years now. Started in 2005 and have been part of the Grandway Dementia site since we opened in January of 2011.
What do you like most about working with the VNA Adult Day Program?
I think my favorite part is that we can make our clients feel good about being here, can feel good in general. We provide a safe place so that family members feel good about sending their loved ones here, and we provide a fun place to be. We encourage each other to have a positive attitude, to just care for each other. It's great to see team members doing that. It's great to see other clients doing that with each other. It creates a positive feeling for the clients. They feel loved, they feel respected, they feel honored.
What do you think people should know about the VNA Adult Day Program?
First thing I think people should know is that we exist. A lot of people who are caring for parents or loved ones who have dementia don't even know that adult day programs exist. So we'd like people to know about us, that we provide a safe place for their loved ones, that we provide a fun family environment. It's like we live life together here. We encourage each other, we go through the good times, the hard times, and we have a lot of activities that keep people mentally and physically stimulated, and we think it's a great place to be during the day, just living life together. And the other thing I think people should know is that they shouldn't feel guilty about taking their family members to the adult day program. It's a lot of people feel like they should have them with them all the time, but caregivers need a break, and also it's good for the clients with dementia because they might think that they're in the best place when they're home alone, but really they need more social interaction. They need a safe place to be, and we're happy to be that, and a fun place to be.
Stella, your turn, please.
It's like a big family. You know, we have lots of activities, but people don't have to do all the activities. If people feel like being alone, they can be alone. You know, if people feel like being with one other person and not participating in the large group activity, they can do that. If they want to do all the activities we have, that's great. You know, we love it when people participate, but we realize that not everybody wants to be with the group all the time, that they can just enjoy whatever their personality lends itself to. So hours are flexible and activities are flexible, but we can be here together and just enjoy our time together.
What do you think are some of the benefits of the program for the individuals and families who participate?
I think there are benefits for the family members in that they can know that their loved one is coming here and in a safe place, that they're being encouraged, that they're getting social interactions that they wouldn't get at home. And so it's good for the family members. A lot of times they're stressed. They've been either taking care of their spouse 24 hours a day and they need a break for themselves, or maybe they're taking care of their parents. Maybe they're working full time and then come home at the end of the day and then have to take care of their loved ones. So it's helpful for the family members to know that their parents or their spouses or their loved ones are in a safe place during the day, and not just safe, but a fun place and a good place. It's good for the clients themselves because they are in a better place than being home alone. They have social interaction, they get physical exercise, they have mental stimulation and sensory input. We have things where we interact with people in the community and volunteers who come in. So there are benefits to both family members and clients themselves.
More information about the VNA's Adult Day programs, call 802-658-1900 or go to the website vnacares.org. That is our program for today. We know you have choices, so thanks for choosing us. I'm Will Michael, inviting you to join us back here each weekday afternoon for another visit Across the Fence.